Sonala, Janjo, Dani, Sochi, Dari, Chicken, Jola, Benja, Sanja, Jola, Sanja, Jolan, Saki, Sonala, Janjo, Dani, Sochi, Dari, Chicken, Jola, Benja, Sanja, Jola, Tayata, Kati, Paranga, Parasum, Body, Tayata, Kati, Parasum, Gati, Body, Tayata, Kati, Parasum, Gati, Body, awesome. 심지어 담제가도 투자라나 맞죠 산재 공부를 거치네 자 도와줘 뒤에도 잔조스 발랍잖아 주제는 나와래 신고 시발을 토와래 토제 좀 많아 가지고도 근데 가서 봐거든 잠불라 뭐 동가 버치 좀 라브리 좀 사제가 되나 제시 좀 비밀이 삼자차.
And so we as normal set our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment, and knowing that to attain that state I must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And there, to actually perfect those trainings, I need to have a thorough understanding based on an unmistaken presentation. And so it is with this in mind that I am here this morning to listen to a brief explanation on the outlines of the great treatise on the path to enlightenment as composed by Lama Tsongkhapa. Sultan did some touching.
Janju sem kene and Jovala Kuta, Jovala Lavetlan, or Casada, Pageant to the Duemovilla. La Curious, Radio Mimpacho, Pageant to the Shaggy Mimpacho, Duemovilla, La Curious. That the name by that Pageant to another with Chibe Pageant, Chibe Pageant in nature. Then a Chujuk Pageant in nature. That the name by that Casola. Marado, and Lamla Labecala, that Dos Lela Lui Cavachi Yosari, and Jimba the Sujim Jena Sujim Dos Kalas watch. Kavachi, Sujim Leta, Kajaja, Suju Dos Kavachi, Sujim Land, Soba, Suju. Then something, then the sheriffs cook, Dos go to let and Walla, and Casola, Kalu Cavachi Yosari. Ineta, Karina Mena, Paje, Redi Nalola, True to some Yams Langu, your Bata. What
So, having generated the mind of enlightenment, and thereafter we have taken on the commitments of engaging in the activities that are kind of relate to kind of responsibilities of maintaining that mind, and they are subsumed into the 6 perfections and the 4 ways of accumulating disciples. The former as a means of ripening our own mind stream, and the latter as a means of ripening the mind streams of others. Now, we have looked at the perfection of generosity. We'll be looking now at the perfection of ethical conduct, and from our point of view as beginners on the path, training on the path, it is said that each subsequent perfection within the 6 perfections is more difficult than the last. So generosity coming first is said to be somewhat easier to practice, then ethical conduct a little more difficult than that, patience more difficult than that, enthusiastic effort more difficult, meditative concentration more difficult, and of course wisdom as the 6th more difficult again. And but bearing in mind that though that is the case, it is also important to include the practice of all 6 perfections within each of the perfections.
다 파진 로다 주는 거 파진 나면 맞지 다 수준이 뭐고 되고 말 주고 수준이 자도 예와 대다 주게 제는 지다 차와 대다 그 되도 하고
So the perfection of ethical conduct, again, 5 different subheadings. As you will see there, what ethical discipline is, how to begin the cultivation of ethical discipline, the divisions of ethical discipline, how to practice, and a summary. These details are on page 238 of the outlines. So the first of these, the what ethical discipline is, and this is defined as an attitude of restraint, wherein we turn our mind away from harming others or from sources of such harm. And perfection of that mind is simply the continual habituation of increasing the kind of refinement of that mind until it attains a state of completion or perfection, and that is the perfection of ethical conduct. And so yes, therefore, to bring about this perfection of ethical conduct is the constant and continual habituation to that mind of restraint that turns away from harming others or from sources of such harm. And so then the second of these outlines how to begin the cultivation of ethical discipline. And here it says, following the generation of the mind of enlightenment and the taking on of the trainings pertinent to that mind of enlightenment, we have taken on the kind of like commitment to establish all sentient beings in the ethical conduct of a fully enlightened Buddha, to be adorned with the ethical conduct of enlightenment or a fully enlightened Buddha. And this is the process by which we set about the necessity then of accomplishing the aims of beings.
예수 임바진자 안 룽아 예수 도미에치 다 소다 가서 저 류다 나라 도모에 자주 선배한테 가서 저다 룽아리 인데 뒤다네 아니 이해라 저 도모에치 용되기도 다 상하 가서 아니 룽아 이 아니 다 상외권에 룽아 예수가 되간데 상외권에 다 직가서대 도매 정되기로 다 가자 용되기도 하고 저
So this process by which we accept and take on the goal of striving to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, we recognize that within that we have a major kind of compromising element, being the mental afflictions to which we have been accustomed since beginningless time, and that this is a major problem that we have in this achieving of the ultimate goal for sentient beings, and that it's through the process of strong habituation that we are constantly engaging in negative actions of body, speech, and of mind, and this results in a harm to sentient beings. Therefore, the principal aim of ethical conduct and the perfection of ethical conduct is to really focus on that element of our practice to prevent any harm to sentient beings by establishing and habituating to restraint within our body, speech, and mind, and that to recognize that we have major habituation, very, very difficult habituation that might lead to the fact that on the one hand we may proclaim that we won't harm through a mental intention, yet when it comes to it we continuously still engage in harmful actions of body and speech and so on, and mind. So it's very, very important for us to really see the kind of reality of our situation and how ethical conduct is absolutely necessary for us to develop. So when we look at that, of course, we're looking at restraining, as we said, the activities of body, speech, and mind. In the context of the systems of ethical conduct, or vow systems related to the individual liberation vehicle, the main emphasis is on restraint of the body and speech, whereas in the context of the bodhisattva vows, the main emphasis is on mind, restraint of mind, but of course there are restraints on body and speech as well. And in the context of tantric vows and tantric ethical outlook, of course it's the restraint and control of all body, speech, and mind, but with an emphasis on secrecy, of doing this secretly. And so here the challenge is to understand what we mean by striving to attain the state of enlightenment for all sentient beings, and to understand that this is for the sake of all sentient beings. So when I am talking about entering into ethical conduct and restraining body, speech, and mind, I am doing so not for my own purpose, but for the benefit of all sentient beings. And that here, this is the kind of like challenge that's putting down to us. So if you are really serious about striving to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and then yes, don't you need to actually perfect your ethical conduct?
소에 대치다 다다다 자주 쓰면 되는 거 做 생겼던 거 쳐도 지금 요다 이나요 이나야 이나 슈라 랑게 되는 차트도 와 랑게 되는 차트도 가서는 랑게다 저 가서의 그 룡아 예수의 예죄도 도모인데 아니 룡아 예수의 연대가 차트가 되게 룡아 예수의 연대 차트가 되게 왔는데 랑다 디기 타도 스토리지 아니 랑전 장만 장량지라 해주고도 디바도 랑전면도 와 룡아 예수 그런 자연도 당샤와이나 룡아 예수인데 아니 너무 시험하듯이 디 온게 아니 레나 저서 무트네 아니 코하고 동에 년 하대도 와 다디도 아니 라라라오미도 와 라오미도 와 다디데 이마인사 랑가라와 타치바 주베지라 때도 때에 라와지 주베라다 룡아 예수 아니 너무 쳐도 줘야 돼 자연도 줘야 되는 각동 제재는 디에는 가서되다 즉 가서되다 너무 좋아 먼저 왔어야 되는 그 아니 저 가서 상빌로 되게도 공부 다 잡아 줘야 되는 사제 다바다 탐지 기본 공부 더 먹고요 봐.
Of course, that in terms of ethical conduct, the main emphasis, as we have said, is for the benefit of others. But of course, that there is a kind of an indirect benefit to ourselves also, simply by the very fact of when you follow the logic of restraining our activities of body, speech, and mind, is then fulfilling the qualities of our body, speech, and mind, being able to establish those qualities, and in fact, through that control, that we are establishing the causes for perfect happiness for ourselves in the future. And this is simply looking at what the norm is, like when we look at the opposite of that, that through mental afflictions, that is, through the lack of control of body, speech, and mind, we allow mental afflictions to take control. That creates karmic imprints on the minds, which sends us through into cyclic existence continuously and helplessly, in fact, without any kind of power over our destiny, continuously. And so, when we address that situation and imbibe in ethical conduct, thereby restraining acts of body, speech, and mind, we establish a certain sense of control over our own minds and our own destiny, and we put a stop to the devastating negative influence of our own mental afflictions, and of course then open up all the potential that we have to develop the kind heart. And so we can see that though the main emphasis of ethical conduct is to benefit others, that there is a sort of an indirect and very powerful benefit to ourselves in any case.
시대체와 셈 시대체 가제 시대체와 요게 쪽에 라면 냠래 야가 용대 주고 와 라면 냠래 야가 용대 셈 시대면은 냠래 그렇지 두고 바로.
And so, of course, the more immediate or temporary benefit from proper ethical conduct is that we maintain a peaceful mind state, and a peaceful mind state is going to definitely benefit our practice, because we can see when our mind is not in a peaceful state, we certainly can't practice.
다 땡에서 냠수 말라와라 타바톱도 거도 땡에서 냠수 말라와라 타바톱도 거요 가르스나 가서다 가서래 다 타바톱 마주게데 단지 말이 붙이고 저티 녀버 담에 더 시럽 공고도 아티 땡에서 그래서 뭐 시럽 고고도 와 konta shirab kogu tuwa. Ta shirab dende de pui tabo miwa chibo chigo yonga la tenge tse kogu tuwa. 다 땡에서 때 삐다고 야고지 용하는 추진면은 용도면도 와. 추진면은 가서도 땡에서 권투면도 와. 땡에서 권발라 로 시대 밥에 고고도 와. 추진라 도나 맞잖아. 로 시대 밥에 용도면도 와. 로 시대 밥에도 마요나 샘추 나오도 가서 샘 미ပတ်지가 샤투 말와. 미ပတ်지가 샤마든 땡에서 뚝뚝면도 와. 땡에서 뚝마도나 아니 셰라삐다고 뚝뚝면도 와. 안 될때는 다가 톱두고 와. 어디다가 그 가서도 추림도 쉬고 개체 못 차대기도 와. 타바도 탐지 쳐봐. 강가 가서는 추림 개체 못 차기도 와. 개체 못 차기도 와.
And so ethical conduct is really like a foundational practice for all practitioners. Those, whether they are on the Bodhisattva path or on the hearer vehicle. For example, all those whose main objective is to attain liberation from cyclic existence, their main body of practice is known as the 3 higher trainings. The first of these is ethical conduct, and the second is meditative concentration, and the third is wisdom. So wisdom is the process of being able to cut through the root of cyclic existence, to realize emptiness or selflessness directly. And this needs a certain power, stability of mind that comes through meditative concentration, of being able to build up that stamina of concentration. But that in turn, the basis of being able to develop meditative concentration relies on a peaceful mind, a mind that is free of distraction. And that is built on the basis of ethical conduct. So we can see how these 3 higher trainings rely on each other and based on proper ethical conduct. And this is kind of like the root issue. We can see also that without decent ethical conduct, there will be no peace of mind. That means that when we come to engage in meditative concentration, we cannot establish a mind which is peaceful enough to develop a single pointed concentration. And of course, without that, there is no success in our practice of wisdom thereafter. So whether it's those vehicles aiming to attain liberation or vehicles aiming to attain full enlightenment, ethical conduct is absolutely paramount for both.
그래서 최대 온도 제와이네 추dim스 계정으로 그냥 김사진은 추dim 가서 야가 속에 김사한테 참아요. 추dim 야구라면은 지금도 욕자 연구도 와. 아는 가라서 욕자 많아 제가 추dim 와서 왔대요. 요한테도 요와. 세버도 와. 그래서 최대를 때네 계정 찾기도 와. 계정 찾고.
And of course, we don't even have to look into these areas. We can look into this life alone and understand how essential good ethical conduct is. We can see for the extent to which any household is at peace and free of conflict is largely due to how well those within the house are abiding in good ethical conduct. We can see how all harm arises due to a lack of ethical conduct or destroyed spoiled ethical conduct. So we can see again how essential practices of good ethics are even in the mundane or the secular world.
그래서 지금 돈다 컨디스트가 있네. 직접 이지디 개체보다 수준 야고 개체보 맞으나 이지디 요구 말와. 이지도 맞으나 아니 그 욕자 용이 이거 똑바사기로 똑바사는 욕자 용이 이거다.
And of course, even to establish anything, trust is important. And trust is based on how well you consider another to be abiding in good ethical conduct. Because we can see that without that trust, there's going to be suspicion. And of course, where there's suspicion, there inevitably will follow trouble.
다 수바 추중기 예완이에서 손대서 다저 도배 추중 예와 추중거 심제된 제가 추중서 손제
The third of these outlines is showing the divisions of ethical conduct. divisions of ethical discipline. The first of these is the ethical conduct of restraint, and the second is the ethical conduct of accumulating virtues. The third is the ethical conduct of working for the sake of or for the welfare of sentient beings. So the first of these, the ethical conduct of restraint, is the abiding in ethical conduct, the vows related to the pratimoksha or individual liberation vehicle sets of vows, or those associated with those vows, and therefore the kind of like inherent within those vows is the promise to abandon certain actions and activities and behaviors. The second major component of ethical conduct is the ethical conduct of accumulating virtues. And here it's talking about really gathering virtue in relation to the six perfections, etc. And it is kind of like generating in one's own mind stream those virtues which have not yet been generated, not allowing those that have been generated to deteriorate, and to actually increase the efficacy of the virtues that one has generated. And so, in terms of looking at non-virtues, we concentrate on the 10 non-virtue, that system of ethics whereby we refrain, the ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtues, being 3 related to physical activities, 4 related to verbal activities, and 3 related to mental activities. That would be a very very basic, but a very all-encompassing system of ethical conduct. And then in relation to the also included in this gathering of virtues, as it says, those related to the 6 perfections and others, focusing on those virtues to be cognizant of those that have been already generated in one's mind stream, to not allow those that are there to deteriorate, and to do everything we can to increase the virtues that are present. And so it's really saying whatever virtue that one is engaging in, or one is intending to engage in, that we look after those that have already been generated in one's mind stream. We prevent those that are present from deteriorating or being spoiled in any way, and we look to means by which we can really increase those virtues which are there.
다 심제 된제가 추진 그래서 심제 된제 다 심제 된제가 추진에 다 지가서다 완전 지금 다 심제가 돼 근데 지금 뭐 있나요 지 다지다 심제 지가서 지금 심제 넘버 주지가 그래서 심제 넘버 주지가 돌아 미냐서 대다게 치매 되 나머서 카나마 도가 매버 지다 리버 주하고 좀
The third aspect of ethical conduct is the ethical conduct of working for the welfare of sentient beings. And really here it has an enumeration of 11 different aspects of help that can be given, but really it's talking about in any way possible that we can benefit or help or assist sentient beings. We should engage in that and accomplish as much as we can without engaging in any wrongdoing.
대단 지발아 야 지바들이 좋다지 지발이 니바 죄죄 좋아다 아니 제 배시고지 가서 양행의 쓸때가 있나 좋아다 배는 지금 소수모나 다 삼한테 제 강에 세다 마시 봐 답에 양행의 쓸 때마다 안 양에 들을 대답지에 아니 요제가 포함되는 답에는 사야 통에 대사들 강에도 소수 제투바데 강투도 편바주게 아니 지금 대사들 내 강에 요가 된 소리 아니 강투도게 편바주게 좋아 어전 아니 로트바 되발라 아니 로트베 가서 되답주게 아니 다 양다버 슈바 되발라 양다베 된 슈바 되발라 아니 강투도게 될 편바주게 좀 그러와 편바주게 아니 로파 슈바 되려도냐 지 탑식 그대지네 아니 로파 슈바 되려 아니 대답지 그거도 야도 그 마티바지 요마다 소소 싱거도나 아니 야 딜레 대답지에 아니 야 소소라 지 가서 다 준주다 되게 요바이나 야 준주다 되게 돈에 편바 주에 되게 있고 다도 다 지금 또스 내가 도움을 내게 계절다 이내 다 소소 준주고 가 죽도와디 지금 죽도와 좀 마도 와디 아니 모두 죽도와 쇼서서 뭐로 수지 잡잖아 다까지 두개들 배수 제지 어때 다 딜라 소바 다까지 다디 명명바 잡으려다 다 타야바 저거다 타야바 쳐
So these 11 means of being able to be of benefit or to help, to work for the welfare of other sentient beings include, of course, those who need assistance or those who need help, to be there for them, to engage in help in that way. Those who are, for example, confused with regard to the proper way of doing things, the proper method. Those who have given help to be able to support that and help. Those who are afflicted by fear and to allay their fears and to bring a peace of mind to them. Those who are afflicted with sorrow, who maybe are in a case where they are really down, depressed, to try to uplift them and to give them hope, etc. Those who are poor in goods or are very poor in general, to be able to give them a material assistance and means by which they can live. Number 7 is those who want a place to live, who need a dwelling, to be able to provide that for them and as best we can. And then those who want mental harmony, who don't have mental harmony, to try to provide that peace and mental stability of mental harmony for them. Those who are proceeding correctly, to support that, to aid them. And those who proceed wrongly, in other words, then to correct their way of doing things, to kind of show them the correct path. And then if one has the capacity, and really this is more for those who are very high level practitioners, who can use your supernormal powers for those who need to be disciplined. And so, and of course, that if that is beyond us, then to make the aspirational prayer that we will be able to assist in that way in the future. But as you can see here, it's not just 11 ways in which one can work for the welfare of sentient beings, but there are countless ways, and it is up to us to do our absolute best to choose and do whatever we can to benefit others at any time. And just to be very aware, of course, of the motivation that should precede any of these actions is the motivation to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, and to be aware that we are engaging in either the ethical conduct of refraining from negativities or restraint, as it says, the ethical conduct of restraint, or the ethical conduct of gathering virtues, or the ethical conduct of working for the welfare of sentient beings, and that each and every act of ethical conduct is to also be focused on that motivation in order to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
두배 값에 탑 개발 저 고구도 와. 어때라 편바 두고 이어서 가자야. 탑 개발 맞죠? 내 편바 차고는 내 바차가 뒤에 하고 말와. 하고 말와. 탑 개발잖아. 아니 저 가서래다. 저기 딱 배나 강사 된데 지라. 아니 저 편바 된데 저 고구 이어 봤잖아. 고구 이어 봐다 랑게 시어서나 아니 랑게 탑 개발도네 편바 두배지. 야. 우주 잠에 된데 많이 받쳤잖아. 파조들은 녀모게 가자서 랑규를 녀모게 වෙ니까 요는 가자서는 그 pen규 잘은 되니까 요르마 딱 가이나면은 아니 저 라신이가 녀모마게 맞지 되게 주주지래도 와 아니 되네 아니 고노상부터는 간투도 편바도 되지 야 소소 편바도 고여서 파조기는 녀모게 하다 안 가자서는 라야 냠네 때보 매바인서 랑규 레당 보인서 녀모게 되니까 요르마
So of course, that one can have every good intention and to also define that with a good motivation. But one must have skillful means in being able to enter into helping others. That we may see a person who definitely needs help. We may have the desire to go and help them. But we have to ask the question, how? How is this going to pan out? I need to employ skillful means in order for this to really work well. Because there's so many times when maybe we see somebody to help, we jump in with the best intentions, but it ends up creating mental afflictions in the other's mind. Not to mention the danger of mental afflictions arising in our own minds. And so it's imperative that whenever we want to help others, that we are doing so free of mental affliction for that person or for ourselves. And so in this way, to have a good, kind-hearted motivation, to check our bodhicitta motivation, to enter into the act of helping without any mental affliction, it's so important, because we can see that as beginners, where our practice isn't that stable, and that we might have the intention and urge to go and help, but due to unskillful ways, we end up creating disturbances and mental afflictions in minds, which is not good. And so this is why it stipulates in this particular aspect is that when we are working for the benefit of sentient beings, the welfare of sentient beings, that we're able to proceed and accomplish what we want to without wrongdoing, without any fault. And so means without the involvement of mental affliction, of course.
다 시바 데이터 지달 주반에서 다 그래서 다 담바 주된다 파전 주된도 주바데에서 다 딩게라 가서 집에 가서 조소다 조다 집어 지장하고 조다 집어 지장하고 어떻죠.
So the fourth outline is how to practice ethical conduct, and this is described in exactly the same terms as for the how to practice generosity, and that is to practice together with the six supremacies and the six perfections. And so then, once we have established a firm, stable, ethical conduct in our own lives, then we can begin to establish others in ethical discipline. And that the rest of this perfection is as it was explained previously. And so then the fifth of the outlines is the summary of what has gone before, so the summary of the perfection of ethical conduct. And so here, that the activities based on the mind of enlightenment, as long as that mind of enlightenment is not weakened, but we're doing everything we can to increase the pervasiveness of that mind of enlightenment, then we enter into the activities of ethical conduct, and to see this whole, the development and the protection of the mind of enlightenment as the very root of our practice, and the ethical conduct being the root of looking after that mind of enlightenment, and that it's also ethical conduct is the best means by which we prevent or avoid harm coming to sentient beings. And so seeing these as the main purposes of our engaging in ethical conduct. So as well as that, to really see the ethical conduct or the practice of ethical conduct of those on the higher levels or higher stages of practice as something for us to aspire to and to engage in those activities. But from a beginner's point of view, to understand that our ethical conduct is built around really doing our best to train in and to be aware of all those activities that either support our ethical conduct or are contrary to that. So the activities that we should take up and the activities that we should leave go. And in particular, when we are looking at the 10 non-virtuous actions or activities, and to have an understanding of those that are by nature incorrect and they are wrongdoing or are seen as wrong by prohibition, and to frequently exercise an attitude of restraint with regard to all of these activities, and kind of really have an awareness of all them, and within them all those vows that we have committed to understand those that are root downfalls and to protect our minds from those, and to make every effort indeed to protect the ethical conducts that we have committed to. And so really the basis of ethical conduct is built around protecting the mind from everything that is opposite to virtue, and to kind of really strengthen our mind in that way, because that which is opposite to virtue is non-virtue, of course. And so when we have poor ethics, we are opening the doors or allowing a non-virtue to get in and to take control. And so really, when we look at the very root basis, essential quality of ethical conduct, it is that which is really protecting from anything that is non-virtuous. When we look into a system of ethics like the ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtues, what it comes down to is to avoid any harm coming to other sentient beings. That's quite obvious when it looks at the 3 related to physical non-virtues, engaging in physical harm in any way to sentient beings. But of course, in speech can be very, very harmful as well. When we use negative speech, it can be very, very harmful. And it's really, really worthwhile contemplating on sort of the consequences of a non-virtuous mindset, or an attitude where one's ethical conduct is that weak that we allow these non-virtuous attitudes of mind to control and to take over. And so it can, in short, they create just so much trouble. Create trouble not just for others, but we are miserable ourselves as well. And so we have to see how that lack of ethical conduct is not just something that promotes non-virtue, prevents virtue, but actually destroys virtue as well. So we have to be very wary of that.
Super Sube Parche Langa, Sube Mobo, Decombal Jube Top, Sube Ratu Yewa, Dejube Secina Chawa, Dedagatun to watch.
The next perfection is the perfection of patience, and this has again 5 components. How to train in the perfection of patience is done under what patience is, how to begin the cultivation of patience, the divisions of patience, how to practice patience, and the summary.
Rangi Gula Dunga Jua, Rangi has a Gula Dunga Jua down to Lambada. Chula never Sebasa, some of Mevashidu never heal us. Silver Paget Zovan is Rangi Toala, Rangi Toala, Sova Kope, Sinkies, Koba Yoso Zova in Ocean.
So, what is patience? And what patience is has 3 different components in that. One, it is disregarding harm done to you by others. Second part of it is to accept the suffering arising in our own mind stream. And thirdly is being certain with regard to the teachings and firmly maintaining a belief in them. Furthermore, the perfection of patience is said to be not just the complete habituation to a mindset that is puts a stop to anger. So the different aspects of patience, being the patience of disregarding any harm done to you, and then with regard to the patience of really gaining certainty in the teachings, firmly maintaining our belief in them. Of course, in here come the law of cause and effect, past and future lives, the attainment of liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment, and so on. It's really firming in our minds our faith in these concepts, in these teachings, and maintaining belief in them. And then the patience of accepting suffering arising in our own mind stream, again, is seeing the kind of like the logic of being able to do this, and to understand that the benefits of being able to do that in the context of completing our training in the perfection of patience, in order to make it the perfection of patience. And so to do to begin the cultivation of patience, the second outline, is on the one hand to familiarize ourselves with the benefits of patience and the faults of a lack of patience.
다 수바 수베에서 예와로 숨 뇌절의 지민이야 동네 당도래 봐. 출来그래서 예선거 수바 모습 예선거 수바 모습다 숨제 보다.
And then the visions, the third outline, the visions of patience are the disregarding of harm done to you by others. The acceptance of suffering, and again C, the finding conviction in the Dharma, the patience of finding conviction in the Dharma.
다 당보 뇌절의 지민년도 수바라 니제 뇌제가 뇌바제발라 미서바 가봐. 뇌제 jorla asa 미가시 꿀라 가와 가봐 뭐지.
So with regard to the first, the patience of generating, the patience of disregarding harm done to you by others, has two parts to it. So here is putting a stop to impatience in relation to harm done to you by others, and secondly is to put a stop to a dislike that one has for the attainments of the one harming, and a delight if they should have some trouble, putting a stop to both those minds.
다 당보들 뇌절라서 뇌바제 뇌절라 뇌바 디디스제다 고고체 아니 디베 부자스 my eyes too bad 아니 중중에도 통해도 nearly get pension. 잠깐 저 당분 뇌제가 뇌바제발라 미세바 가바사다 가발라 니제 대외 계획제바다 동해 와제바 미세바 가바 구와소께서 계획제바 구와소기 계획제바다 네바소 숨제발라 미세바 가바 오제.
And so with regard to the first of these points, that is the point where we must put a stop to impatience with regard to harm done to us. And this has two subheadings itself. And the first of these focuses on putting a stop to the impatience towards our happiness being stopped, or obstacles placed in the way of our happiness, and included in that is also impatience towards actual suffering being done to us. And the second subheading with regard to that point is also putting stop to impatience with regard to three aspects of either with regard to praise, fame, or honor being prevented or thwarted, and towards contempt or offensive language or unpleasant language being visited upon us. So, with regard to the first of these, being the impatience with regard to our kind of happiness being thwarted and suffering being caused to us. This again has two subheadings. First is that it's saying, showing how anger in these cases is unjustified. And secondly, showing how love or compassion is actually justified.
당고 초아자와 메리바 때말로 숨자 더 유이다 유젠다 때라다나 메리바 고서 더 유문에 따라 유젠문에 따라 때라다고 이나야 가와다고 이나야 초아자와 메리바.
So with regard to the first of these, in other words, showing how anger is unjustified in these cases, this is going to be looked at under three subheadings. One, unjustified with regard to the object, unjustified with regard to the subject, and unjustified with regard to the basis.
당보 유라 딱바들라 시제 당보 rawa yume taane, taa khurang sosora nyoba chigandela rawa dumato taane mirigba nisa dela nyoba cheba tila dela asa rala rawa mebi chete nyomongi asa nyoba chebe joganam keching taa khurang kiro nyomongi kene taa kasato taa nyogu yuwa nisa wachete joganam keching ke shenla tungi kebe china kebe china gansa de la rawa jungse jang me to gansa de la rawa jungse jang yo ma yes de yima yin sa ta yula de ba yin ya gansa de tona tig me dos khora rawa me to as pena dengel la be on to so wa kashi pen togen le ne ba che de wa shi no sa ta de so ne ba de ba de shu ne yima yi ta de ko ne ba shu ne so so pen togen de mo ma shi ne ba ke de yung to as khora rawa me ne chi go yor bas 다다 뒤에 코안기로 녀모 게 아니 귤람제네 아니 소소 내가 지금 여기서 코나 나오면 왔어.
So the this is going to be looked at the first of these, in other words, in relation to the object, with using four different reasonings, and so that. It is unjustified with regard to the object, meaning that when we analyze it, we see that the object is lacking any self-control. In other words, that the one engaging in harm is not in control. They have been taken over by their mental affliction, and that is what is engaging in the harm. And so that and this is how they kind of like this mental affliction produces the suffering for others, and that that person has absolutely no control over what's occurring. For example, it's like somebody who's possessed by demons seeks to harm another, even though that person has helped them, has been of benefit to them. We would never accuse that person of doing something like in the sense of being deliberately an agent of harm, because we know they are possessed by demons. So in this same sense, that somebody who is harming us is under the control of their mental afflictions, and in that sense they haven't got control. But so again, as it says in the Bodhisattva's way of life, we can see, as Master Shantideva says, that we can see some people, due to being controlled or taken over by their own mental afflictions, will even harm themselves, will even take their own lives. Then what's so surprising about the fact that they might harm me? That you can see how this mental affliction robs people of their own power, of their own control. Therefore, we should have compassion for them. But if we can't generate compassion for them, anger is certainly out of the question. We should never have anger towards them. And we can see in many cases on the news, isn't it, that it's such a common occurrence where we see instances of those who have killed their own children, have killed their parents, have killed their partner, and so on. And we can see that to do such a thing, one must be crazed by mental affliction. Again, as Master Shantideva points out, you know, that people talk of being very frightened by having to stay in the same house as a corpse overnight, and that he's pointing out that you shouldn't be in any way fearful of a corpse. What can a corpse do? A corpse can't do anything to you. But if you want to be afraid of the live person you are standing beside. Because if mental affliction takes over their mind, they're capable of anything. So they're the person to be scared of.
Intelligent nyomong cheongo yorwata ro tinza rangi migi niwa chazang de beju tang ma do so de do tile tene pena mazo kondo sani kala samos ke yo mari ke tu ja shene nima chema de mi de tu do mo sa gi do tu mo de kal che ba ko di me ba dar wa ke ten chama me ba dar wa ko nyomong she wa che de ko lam sha de ma do ani tamune 양분이 제일 나다 그 등주도 때문에 밑에 가고 여러 강에 요 말와.
So we can see that even within the wording in Tibetan Nyon Mong, the word Mong has the sense of Nyon Mong meaning mental affliction, but that's the second syllable Mong has this connotation of a kind of confusing agent. In other words, it compromises severely our own natural intelligence to do the right thing. And so this is what happens when we are under the control of mental afflictions. So like anger, for example. You know, how often has it been the case when we were really angry, and of course then we poured out these nasty words to somebody, such that, you know, the next day when you've calmed down and you see them on the other side of the road, you want to hide yourself because you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed by your behavior the previous day, which proves that behavior was not enacted on the basis of valid reasoning. You were out of your mind. You were compromised. You were under the influence of that confusing element of the mental affliction. And so it showed that you recognized it when you were calm, but when you're angry, you're not in control. And so this shows, like, when we are peaceful and we're able to speak from that peaceful, controlled center, we can have confidence in what we say. We are not embarrassed about what we say.
아니 잡로네 지금 삐라서 안 코콘도 사서 콘도 산에 가서 라바 주부기도 된 것도 와 오스트리아 주부기 주부 인데지 기도 것도 제가 주부들 독자 된 것도 와 안고 인도서 와 아니 이게 제가 그런 그런게 지금 무트라 빼하고 지기도 할고 못 썼어.
그러니까 뭐
무트라 빼하고 지기도 할고 이제 못 살려. 가서 남매로 딱.
이 모터 단캔데.
모터.
인크랑 모터 딩가.
모터 지금 모터 단계. 그런 때 티스라서 거 롱라이서 두고 집에 이제 또 그도. 스위치 이렇게 그냥 모터를 빼하고 지기도 할고 썼어. 너무 겨도 못 살려.
It's like, I was recalling such an incident several years back when again I was traveling in a car, and it was in traffic, and somebody at the back was impatient. They were beeping loudly, and the driver in Genla's car got angry, and of course he flipped the finger at the person. And Genla looked over him and said, "I see you're using very good mudras." And he immediately understood and got completely embarrassed. He knew he had in that moment lost it, you know.
니가 로보다 라신 칸이 따나 야스다. 다 지단 즉 가서데 지금 네바키 온도 소소 코드 사로 지금도나 저 문에 즉 가서데 딜라 라와 연에 지금도 매니저 뒤딱지 지디 개치고 입어자. 뒤딱지 정원도 에는 라신 어제 뒤딱지 손 지고요 말라. 딱지 맞지도 남장 너무 경고도 와. 뒤딱지 제가 라와는 정말 많이 받대 못 줘야지. 딜라 때는 에는 가사들 코드 마사야지. 코드 사주 차라 딜 니지 개에 되겠지. 그내가 주였어요.
So, you know, this reasoning is actually very important to the reasoning of the lack of personal control or self-control. It is something that we should employ when we are faced with somebody who is angry, and to really, really employ the analysis of asking how much control has this person got if they're using these words, if they're acting in this way. And to recognize that they are lacking in control is to open the space for us to actually respond not with anger, but with compassion. So it actually is a very, very essential initial reasoning for us to use.
지금 되게 컨트롤도 너무 많게 뭐라 마디시시 찾을 수가 마디시 찾도 왔던 거라서 그건 너무 게임 나도 그건 양요요래 마디시 찾고도 같이 책도 잘라면 남주도 잘 마디시 찾다 남자 오디 컨트롤이 세 컨트롤 비타민 레선 하고 맞지 딜러 때는 컨트롤 top 그래서 남자 디 매로 쏟아지지 마디시 매버지지.
And so since we all have very good experience with mental affliction, we can recognize that there is a certain discomfort preceding the full-blown mental affliction in our minds. You know, there's some sort of sense of unease somewhere around the heart center, and to really recognize that in our own minds, when we really are kind of like become very skilled at picking this up early on, and to understand that, this is like now my multivitamins for my anger. This is like multivitamin for my mental affliction coming, and I need to put a stop to this now, not to be feeding it those vitamins, and to really stop it becoming full blown. Very effective.
콘도 쓰는 게 아니라 라한다 신니가라 누구래 맞지고 소그래 다디 콘도 그 세레 딘자 남자 모터 받잖아 라시 니가라 누가 지그래 삼사잖아 지 가서라디 예답체치 그래서 니 예답 맞은 거죠 맞지 봐줘도 좀전 삼로 당기도 와 좀전 삼로 야가 좀 당나 지금 두가 좀 당기다 내가 집도는 더 가르치는 갈라고 요래 가르치는 지것들 딜을 때는 아니 콘도 마마 사줘야지.
And so it's very important just to have like the basic reasoning of if I'm feeling this sense of discomfort or unease, it means that the mental affliction is being fed, in some sort of vitamin, and that I need to recognize that this is happening and to change one's mode of thinking at that point, to really kind of like distract one into a different way of thinking, and that's important. You can employ reasoning, but beware that reasoning can go both ways. You can reason yourself into more anger and say, I have every right to be angry in this case because they are totally unjustified and blah blah blah, and you can that can quickly go that way, or of course you can reason yourself out of it. So it's best to give yourself space initially, just by recognizing, oh, anger is coming, I don't want to feed it, stop, move away.
Mela sabsa majina ko tsigre ko de ko tsigido so kono sa yo maro tambo soso sabsa che de geche borwa wada kono sa wada che chadu das lobo ayina ya twa miri des ta lobo ayima ina dire ya twa jigmo dos an doala soba nankal ta nawana di gyöngi yasa di gyöngi onge nanga di gyöngi onge nangala twa miri bashino so wa twa miri bashino.
So the second reasoning here related to the object is saying that on analysis, whether it is right or not to be angry on the basis of adventitiousness or nature. And the first is in terms of saying, even in terms of nature, it's not correct to be angry. And this is the example is given of fire. You know, it's the nature of fire to be hot and to burn. But if we are kind of like put our hand in the fire and are burned, we are not going to be angry at the fire, because it's the nature of fire to be hot and to burn. It's our problem. We weren't careful, and so we have to take responsibility for that ourselves. It's not the fire's fault that we got burned. It's our fault. So they're showing that in terms of the nature of the thing, again, it's not correct to be angry. It doesn't add up. Secondly, in this part, even if it's adventitious, that is kind of happening more accidentally, it's incorrect to be angry. It's like saying here the example is of smoke in the sky. When smoke appears in the sky, it's not something that creates a stain on the sky, so to speak. And so the same for us, that we should see that anger is incorrect to generate anger in terms of it arising adventitiously, of situations arriving adventitiously. So never came good one. That get the trouble with young trouble with the Casa de la Trona chicken to sway the you never gave a Nugella Tonani, Shadan, Lantota, Nugella Tovina, nobody Nuja Koraya, Shadan Kunalangusa, because Shadan de la Trocotus, Troco. And so, with regard to the second reasoning, that it's incorrect to be angry at somebody who is angry in terms of its nature. It's illogical, and it is on the basis of analysis. It's unacceptable, but also in terms of things arising adventitiously or on the basis of conditions and so on. That they are harming on the basis of those conditions. It's incorrect to be angry at that. because we are not angry at the sky for smoke being in the sky and so on. The third reasoning is saying on the basis of analysis whether it's correct, or it's saying it's incorrect to be angry either in terms of things occurring directly or indirectly. And this example is saying here, so there is an agent inflicting the harm. So that if we are really isolating that somebody is attacking us, for example, with a stick and hitting us with a stick, then we, when it comes to isolating the agent inflicting the harm, there is more logic to being angry at the stick than there is at the person wielding the stick, because it's actually the stick that hits me, and that's what hurts. And so therefore it's incorrect to be angry at the person directly. But then if says no, but it's actually the stick wouldn't be harmful if it wasn't somebody wielding the stick, and so it is correct to be angry at the person. But again, we've established that that person is not in control. They are under the control of their mental affliction. And so again, it's not correct to be indirectly angry at the person, and to be angry at the person for behaving indirectly either. If you're going to be angry at the hostility, at the mental affliction that's causing it. And in fact, when you look into it a bit more deeply, again, you have to look at where does the anger come from, where does the hostility come from, and it comes from the misconception of in the inherent existence of a self, of grasping at a self, and if that's where we should really have impatience towards. And so the fourth reasoning is that it is under the analysis of whether it is proper to be angry at the cause that impels the harm doers. We say no, it's incorrect, that it does not follow that one can be angry at the cause that impels them either. And so that because of the cause of the how do you say, it's incorrect to be kind of angry at another is because the cause that led to their harm is something that we have created ourselves, and therefore we should accept what has been caused by ourselves. This is the ripening result of that, and so it's incorrect to be angry in this case. So the next outline is looking at the on the basis of an analysis, checking the incorrectness of anger in relation to the subject as well. So we've been looking at reasonings related to the object, now a reasoning related to the subject. And so and so I'd say for somebody, subject to generate anger on the basis of harm is contradictory, because if say to be kind of like unable to put up with even a slight suffering now, it's like not being able to put up with even a minor suffering now, but at the same time through your anger creating causes that will lead to much more aggressive suffering in the future, because you're laying down the causes for that suffering in the future, is again illogical, and so therefore incorrect. So again, it's really recognizing the great profit in being able to adopt an attitude of patience in the face of harm, because one sees the reality of what's happening, that by being able to accept a minor suffering now, I am putting a stop to great suffering that might otherwise have happened in the future. And so it kind of is putting a stop to particular paths of karma that one has started oneself, and now you're putting a stop to it by not allowing anger to take place, but by responding to the situation with patience. And again, from the Master Shantideva, he points out in the Bodhisattva's Way of Life the example of a person who has been condemned to death. So they're going to be executed, and yet they have some friend that will advocate on their behalf, such that the sentence is mitigated, so that they only have their hand severed. And to kind of go, how joyful that person would be to have avoided execution. And so they won't consider it such a great loss to lose a hand because they have saved their life. In the same way, we accept smaller harms, smaller sufferings now in order to offset greater sufferings in the future. And what if we are able to transform the instance of suffering now to becoming a cause for this attainment of liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment? What a transformation that would be to what has been the norm, like since beginning this time, of continuously perpetuating the same sufferings by not being able to accept them, and then allowing them to continue on again from life to life. To actually take this stance now transforms everything. A great benefit to us.
타바다 탐제 김에 유대한테 코에님이 용목의 교 아니 지금 안되게 랜데게 남자 다 지금 된 지금 가서도 다시 산재게 때문에 용서하게 돼 야고 시바이나 아니 세바 마고 추진 마소와 탐매봐 지마 마다와 탐매봐 세바 마고와 탐매봐 가서래 가서 준비 마소와 탐매봐 땡에째 마고와 탐매봐 셰르 마게와 탐매봐 샤대도와 람바시 민도와 당문에 되기 되고 여바이나 람바시 민도와 연주 마게와 탐매봐 좋아 가서데 자주가 선 마게와 탐매봐 돈이 그 또비 셰르 마게나 탐매봐 딱 간지 들어 탐매게 자자도 와 때도 되기 되고 여바이나
So really, when we look at the full body of the teachings of the Buddha and familiarize ourselves with the faults of cyclic existence, the faults of mental afflictions, the presentation of the law of cause and effect, and so on, and that we will see how, actually, for somebody really requiring happiness, true happiness, then it's a no-brainer. There's no choice but to practice perfect ethics as much as we can, generosity as much as we can, patience, effort, meditative concentration, wisdom as much as we can, to be able to develop renunciation, the mind of enlightenment, the correct view of emptiness as much as we can. And we can see here that the logic has it such that logic is overwhelming in favor of adopting these practices, of adopting this attitude, of adopting this lifestyle, if it's happiness that we really want. There is no other way. When we look at those who are, really committed to just the one life theory, and they are therefore just working for the benefit of this life only, by gaining a modern education and putting in so much effort, really striving day and night to proceed, to progress, that it's only ever good for this one life, and that's all it amounts to, and that it is not in any way pertinent to the establishment of true permanent happiness. When we are looking for true permanent happiness, we have to look beyond this one life limited ideal and look into the future lives of what real happiness is about. And so when we have reconfigured our life and our whole attitude towards establishing true happiness through the practices of the six perfections, etc., that we are looking after not just a true future permanent happiness, but the happiness of this life will occur for us almost as a side effect. The third avenue through which we analyze the incorrectness of anger is on the basis of the basis itself. So by analyzing the basis, showing how anger is invalid. And here it's saying that if we look at the cause of the harm and examining whether it is at fault or not at fault. So we're looking here, for example, at the weapon that might be used in an instance of harm. And so if a weapon, or like a sword or a knife, pierces the body, then you have two objects that are responsible for the harm that is occurring. And so both the knife but the body is also facilitating that harm, because without the body being there, there's nothing for the knife to harm, to pierce. And so therefore puts forward the question, at which should I be angry? At the body for getting hurt, or for the knife for hurting? And so we can see that here there's no valid reasoning for anger in this particular case. Let's leave it there. So it's really, and it's as a matter of thinking, that whether we are angry, give access to anger or not, is based on the way we are thinking, the way we think about it. That if we, as Skinner's point out, have a positive attitude, then there's very less likelihood of anger finding an avenue into our lives and into our minds. But those who have a negative attitude to life, even when something beneficial happens, they'll find a way to be miserable about it. So and so we want that which is beneficial, that which is helpful to us. We don't want to have anger. So to have a positive attitude with regard to life is to look after not just the temporary, we'll have more temporary happiness and instances of joy and happiness in our lives, but we're more likely to engage in the virtue that will look after future happiness as well. As opposed to having a more overall negative attitude, whereby you not only are not inclined to engage in the virtue that will take care of future happiness, but you're also likely to transform any instances of temporary happiness into misery for yourself. So we really look at it in terms of, really understanding our death, and that death is certain, the point of death or time of death is uncertain, and that it's only our spiritual practice that will be of benefit to us at that time of death. When we have that firmly established in our minds, we will have not much cause to kind of be mired in unhappiness. We will be able to say that in terms of maintaining some control over our lives now, when we have it in hand, whether we have some control now, to make the most of it by being positive, engaging in virtue, and avoiding any instances of anger. And because it's not the case that we will always have that sense of control over our lives. And so we want to make sure that we are preparing for death in the best possible way. And so, you can see too that, how completely inefficient it is to be under the influence of mental affliction all the time. It's so draining. It's so much effort. You're constantly kind of dealing with your anger, dealing with your frustration, dealing with your mental affliction, and having to come up with this negative speech, and these kind of plotting these negative actions. It is so much effort, pointless effort, that if we really transformed our attitude towards Dharma, we have a much easier life to be able to live, and indeed be able to look forward to enlightenment in the future. And so under the influence of mental affliction, we don't sleep well, we don't enjoy our food, we're generally not able to kind of extract any joy out of life. And so that we need to be really to transform our attitude of virtue to be as alert and as smart, indeed, as our own attitude when it's dominated by mental affliction. And so this is the way we need to, if we are able to shift the energy from our afflicted side towards our spiritual, virtuous side, we would advance very quickly towards enlightenment. And as the great Kadampa Lamas used to say, I don't have any great other purpose to do except to really watch the mind. And when the mental affliction is kind of alert, I will be alert, like having a spear ready to strike. When the mental afflictions are relaxed, I will be relaxed. And saying here, for us to be that aware of when the mental afflictions are present, to really reduce the influence of those mental afflictions that have the power over us, to eradicate those mental afflictions that have little power over us, and to be constantly working at either eradicating or reducing the power that the mental afflictions have over us. And so to say that, the bottom line is that whether we are engaging in Dharma or not is down to whether or not we are opposing the mental afflictions.
어때 제나다 최제에서 차기로 최종으로 먼저 최 먼저 가서도 군조 쓰면은 최군에 대 그 잡고에 대 최군조이 봐. 최군조에 잡고요 와.
And to understand, that the actual spiritual practice is based on the degree to which we are really opposing the mental affliction. And within that, of course, we know that it is when we develop the wisdom realizing emptiness, and that we are then armed with a means by which we can very efficiently and directly uproot mental affliction. But even before we gain such a realization, we have like the ethical frameworks, like abiding in the ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtues, whereby we restrain our actions of body, speech and mind. We look into the faults of mental affliction. We look into how best to oppose our own particular emanations of mental afflictions, and to understand that all of this is engaging in spiritual practice, the Dharma. And as we know from the teachings on refuge within the Triple Gem, it is the Dharma that is the actual refuge for us. And so, as in fact, the actual Dharma gem is the realization of emptiness in our own mind streams, of generating that realization of emptiness in our own mind streams. And that is because such a realization can completely uproot the self-grasping ignorance. And this is why it is demarcated as the actual refuge, that which offers refuge from suffering. So let's leave it there. And so we can see, with the presence of mental affliction, there is no happiness. With the absence of mental affliction, we can experience happiness. And so even at that level, to understand that when we are opposing mental afflictions, we are really working towards our own happiness. And we're protecting ourselves from suffering. So we do our prayer. We dedicate, of course, that the virtue that we have accumulated towards the perfection of the 6 perfections, that our practice of the 6 perfections will go well and be successful. From my 2 collections of vast space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives and industry. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings. With the points of the path as I have discerned them, may I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. with my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Who makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankapa, crown jewel of the sages of land of snows. Rosangrapa, to feet and make requests.